The youngest known serial killer was 8 years old. His name was Armajit Saleh, and he grew up in a small village by the name of Bihar, India. By the time he was 8 years old, he'd managed to kill 3 people by the time he was caught. In custody, he smiled a lot, but did not say much. Humans have been murdering humans since the beginning of time. Sometimes it's for things like territory or a breeding partner. But nowadays, it's become apparent that many times people kill simply for the pleasure of killing, the pleasure of playing God. Most people who kill like this are considered psychopaths. Now, as a CJ major, I find it fascinating by what inspires humankind to commit the ultimate sin, the act of stealing someone's life. And although not every murder is the action of psychopathy, that certain percentage does exist. And for that reason, it's necessary to recognize what makes up a psychopath. So the traits of a typical psychopath must be discussed. We'll need to consider what psychopathy is, the specific traits of a psychopath, as well as who they target. Let's begin by understanding what a psychopath is exactly. Psychopathy is a condition characterized by the absence of empathy and the blunting of other affective states. It is considered antisocial personality disorder. Callousness, detachment, and a lack of empathy enable those with psychopathy to be extremely manipulative. Psychopaths can appear to be normal, and many recognize the charming psychopath. The typical psychopath, however, lacks any kind of conscience, and this lends itself toward an inclination to commit criminal behavior, which spells danger for those around them. Now that it's clear what a psychopath is, we can begin to explain the traits most psychopaths exhibit. Psychopaths show patterns of manipulation and violation of others' rights. And many traits are a sign of their disregard toward other people. They commit actions that depict the following traits. They can be pathological liars, prone to manipulation. They'll make up or say anything to reach their goal. They will blatantly lie, distort the truth, break promises, and blame others so that they can advance their own schemes. They lack morality and are generally rule breakers. They believe that might is right and that rules are meant to be broken, so they're more likely to violate another's human rights. Following the general code of human ethics is considered weakness. Psychopaths lack empathy and are cold-hearted. Neuroscientist Adrian Raine substantiated that people with antisocial personality disorder have fewer cells in their prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for the capacity to understand other people's feelings, to make ethical decisions, and learn from their experiences. Because of this, although they know that they're causing suffering toward their victims, instead of discouraging the behavior, they are encouraged to commit more harm. They believe, in addition, that their victims cause their own suffering, essentially blaming them. They are both narcissistic and have a superiority complex. They exhibit calculated charm, self-absorption, entitlement, as well as conceit. The belief that they're better than others justify their actions that harm others. And part of this justification comes from convincing their victims that they are worthless, which is called gaslighting. Beyond understanding the traits of psychopaths, it is important to know who they tend to victimize to protect others. Psychopaths are like sharks because they can smell blood in the water, figuratively speaking. The more psychopathic an individual is, the easier it is for them to identify their victims. They can identify potential victims just by watching them move. In one study, test subjects, the potential psychopaths that is, watched 12 videos of people walking, and they were tasked with rating how easily the individuals would be mugged. Some of the people recorded had been mugged, apparently, and the most psychopathic of the test subjects accurately pinpointed which was which, even though the subjects were shot from behind. The psychopaths even We're looking at nonverbal cues to judge the ease of victimization. Traits like the length of their step, their stride, apparently, how they shifted their weight, and how high they lifted their feet were discerning factors. These were all body language that implied a lack of confidence or social submissiveness that the psychopath would prey on. In conclusion, if you're curious to know whether your next door neighbor is hiding bodies in their basement, you should consider what psychopathy is at its root. Think about the traits they show in others' presence and the type of people they gravitate toward. Unlike Amarjeet's case, most people that are thought to suffer from antisocial personality disorder are not discovered until after they're 18 years old. Many times, they're diagnosed for conduct disorder or oppositional defiant disorder. And sometimes it can be hard to spot a psychopath because of situational psychopathy, in which case a person may exhibit concern and respect and politeness towards some people, and toward others, they exhibit cruelty and and inhuman behavior towards those that they consider weaker than them, which just goes to show how difficult it is to truly know someone. Still, I hope this eases some of the confusion towards psychopaths. Thank you.